All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. It's Pastor Dowell. I'm on my way back from Canada, and I wanted to talk to you about the box. The box. And I need for everybody to listen to me as close as you can. All right? This world that we all seem to find ourselves functioning in, it was created for you to function and to operate a certain way. Now, you can make your own choice and decisions to what you want to do. You can choose to literally function inside of that box that they give you and stay not only physically enslaved, but mentally enslaved to it. Or you can start to live your life outside of that box, broaden your horizons, try to do whatever you can to open up the minds through your example, and try to pull as many people out of that box as possible. You see, straightway, the ministry of it, the community of it, we are people that's showing you how you can function outside of the box that the world gives you. I don't care what the social stigma is. I don't care what the societal order is. You can still function outside of their box and broaden your horizons and expand not only yourself, but the generations that are coming behind you, if you will stop thinking with the limited amount of thoughts that they have trained you to think with. Am I making any sense whatsoever at all? In other words, if I would have stuck with the religious order and the social order as it is defined for me, and has been defined for me before I even came out of my mother's womb, I would still be in that same old box. This is the reason why a lot of people are closed-minded today, and they can't even see. Because when you are inside of a box, your revelation about things is very limited. You can only function based on the way that you have been programmed. But once you come outside of that box, you begin to see not only the world, but the universe, for the possibilities that are stated, that are sitting right there in front of you. Your imaginations and your thoughts can begin to expand, and you can begin to grow. You can begin to experience a level of peace, contentment, and freedom, liberty, that you would never ever have if you're inside the box. Think about this. The majority of the world is in that box. You know who's not in that box in this world? Maybe if I put it this way, it'd be a whole lot easier on you. Rich people, millionaires, billionaires, they're not in that box. You see, they give us a world. They give us laws. They give us societal order. And of course, many of us already know that the world is pretty much ruled by no more than maybe 5 or 10 people. But even though they rule somewhat in this world, you don't have to allow them to rule you if you choose to get outside of the box that they have given. Every state, every country has all of its citizens or denizens, depends on which way you classify yourself. Every one of them is trained to think a certain way. For instance, in America, we have a school curriculum, and I don't care what curriculum it is. From one end of the United States of America, you can go from Maine to California. Everybody is pretty much, be it in the public school system, the private sector, or in college, everybody's been pretty much trained to function and think a certain way. I'll give an example. All right, religion gives you a box, and religion tells you this is how you think while you're inside that box. And it gives you Christmas, Easter Sunday. It tries to convince you that righteous and holy laws that are for you are actually against you. And it goes on and on and on with it. And then we have everybody that's thinking according to what they tell you inside that box. Now, once you get outside that box, and once you start reading that Bible, those scriptures, for what it says, you find out something. You find out, whoa, wait a minute. But this is what they've been telling me all this time. And now I'm doing my own independent research. Now I'm using the same books, the same book that they use and they have taught me and told me what it says. Now I'm reading it for myself. I can't come up with the same conclusion that they have given. You can expect for everybody inside that box to start to point fingers at you, because the majority of the people think that way, have been trained that way, and will live that way, and will die that way. Only a few people that outside of that will broaden their horizons, expand themselves, influence others who have the ears to hear, who want to get outside of that box and be something greater and better than what has been given. See, a lot of times what we want to do is let me bring it in a social order. All right, it's obvious I'm a black man in America. Now, I don't too much associate with that word black, because I believe myself to be, as a matter of fact, I know myself to be native, indigenous, aboriginal of this land. That I know of for sure. I can sit back all day long and I can blame the white man for my plight, for my condition, for my state of mind, and the way that I'm living today. Or either I can get outside of the paradigm of that thought and get rid of that victim mentality, and I can get outside of that box and start to look at all the possibilities that I have in front of me, not only because of the example that I do myself, the influence I could have on others to strengthen them, and the more people I'm able to influence, the more people who are able to expand. See, I can live my life blaming the white man for everything. I know the atrocities of the white man in this country, how they've killed over 100 million people of my people. I realize all that. I get it. And also know the rule of the world, the governments, the laws, and how it goes. I understand that. But it's not going to help me one bit if I continue to hold bitterness and animosity. Believe me, I have my own benchmarks up about certain things. But the one thing I don't do is I do not paint a broad brush. And I dare not make everybody responsible for the victimization and the literal cultural genocide of my people, when I realize and I know that not every white person in this world is responsible for that type of attitude. Those people are the real true savages. Those people are the real true cavemen. Those people are the real true ones that's got some serious issues and problems. And if you continue to be angry at that enemy, you're going to continue to stay in that box. I didn't say you don't be angry, but you have to learn how to be angry and not sin. You have to learn how to be angry and not be limited. You have to learn how to overcome obstacles that are in front of you while never, ever, ever forgetting the past. You never do it. Never again, you should say. That is never going to happen to me on my watch or my people ever again. And there's nothing wrong with that, because they have these people who call themselves by a different name, trying to perpetuate themselves as the people of the book, my ancient people, and they say never again. Even though the way they label themselves is just as false and phony as a $3 bill, or can I say all Federal Reserve notes. So, and if you listen to leaders that will keep you under the bondage and tutelage of their own personal doctrines, their own religions, their own perspectives, their own theologies and ideologies, if you listen to people who keep you under their personal political ideology, their political either incorrect or non-correctness, or political correctness in general, you're going to continue to keep functioning inside of there and be a slave to the system that they have given you all of your life. While you're sitting there belly aching and still blaming the white man for everything, you're still broke, you're still poor, you're still stuck in the cities, You still don't have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of and a yard to receive it. You're still making excuses. You're still putting forth the finger. But you yourself are not getting any better with what's placed in your hand. Isn't that sad? I hope you really truly have listened to everything that I've said in this video. Everything I've said in this video. And maybe go back and listen to it again and again and again until these sayings sink deep down in your heart. Have a wonderful day. King coming.